Hello, my friend, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to navigate having really difficult conversations with our little ones. You guys have been asking through comments and emails, how do I have the conversations about racism and injustice? And so I want to walk you through my process and how I'm going to be navigating this with my 4-year-old son, Kai, coming up. Hey there, and thanks again for tuning in. If you happen to be new to my channel, my name's Nicole. I'm a mommy. I'm a conscious parenting coach as well as a pediatric occupational therapist. And this channel is just a really great resource in terms of child development, emotional intelligence, and how we as parents navigate our parenting journey to raise beautiful soul-aligned children. So in this episode, I want to walk you through my process in terms of how I am navigating having really difficult conversations with my little one who is 4 years old. You know, you guys have asked specifically about having conversations about racism and what has been taking place in terms of the protest and Black Lives Matter. But I want to rewind just a little bit because I think context is really, really important. So again, 2020 has been one for the books thus far. We have been living through a pandemic and now another major human rights event. As a parent, the first thing that comes to my mind is I want to be able to protect everyone's mental wellness. So it's important as parents to have the context of our kiddos are already being burdened with this pandemic, right? They are experiencing social isolation. They are experiencing extreme shifts in their daily routine, whether that is not going to school or daycare on a regular basis as they had been, or if they are in school or daycare, there are probably big changes that have taken place in order to protect people. So now with this happening on top of a pandemic, my intention is to, again, protect my little one's mental well-being and my own well-being. So when I talk about this human rights event, my goal is to speak about it in a way that is not only age appropriate, but that empowers Kai as opposed to instilling fear or feelings of hopelessness or powerlessness. I think that that's really important, but that clearly identifies the issue at hand or illustrates the issue at hand. And I think that the illustration is an important key, especially if you have a younger one. 4-year-olds, having a conversation with them, there's going to be a limited capacity to truly understand what's taking place in the context of their lives. So an example of this is our little one went and spent the weekend with his aunt. And his aunt was planning on attending a very peaceful paddle out for peace event where surfers would paddle out to the ocean and in big groups. And then there was a moment in which they knelt for, I think it was 8 minutes. And people had signs and were chanting, and it was just this really harmonious, peaceful, beautiful event. And Kai was able to take part in that and see that. And so that is such a great way to introduce what is taking place in the world while also showcasing empowering actions that people can take to make a difference. So he has this lived experience now that can be built upon to teach about injustice or racism, of course, at an age-appropriate level. So again, giving our little ones illustrations, whether that's through a book, whether that is you jumping in and taking action and experiencing something firsthand with your kiddo, so that way they can really anchor in what it was like to be there and what they saw. And there are so many different conversations you can have from that lived experience. But for me, when I think about my 4-year-old, I think about what he is capable of comprehending. He understands right versus wrong, right? Conceptually, what's right versus what's wrong, or what's fair versus unfair. And these are the terms that I can use to help him understand what's taking place in the world around us and what people can do when they see that people are doing things that are wrong and that people want to stand up for what is right, or vice versa, right? Fair and unfair. So These are the sort of teaching concepts that you can use with your really young ones to help them get a grasp of what's taking place in the world around them. So for my husband and I, it's really important that we start introducing history and ancestry so Kai can have a deeper understanding of who he is and where he comes from. And when it comes to my specific situation, Kai is mixed, so my husband is white. We think it's also really important to start educating on mom's background, dad's background, and have him understand how it is that the two of us were able to come together. And again, depending on your little one's age level, you're going to have to oversimplify, and you can add contextual pieces as your child is able to understand them. And so the last piece I want to add that is really, really important is emotional regulation skills as well as coping skills, because when these heavy events come up, whether it is the human rights issues we are seeing or the pandemic that our kiddos are going through, heavy emotions are likely to surface, right? Or difficult or challenging emotions to wade through are likely to come up. So how are we able to hold space for our kiddos while also providing them tools and resources to help them move through their feelings? I think it's important that we allow space for our kids to feel, because we know that we need space for us to feel. I think that that is something many of us have experienced with George Floyd's death, is a lot of heavy emotions and sitting with that and feeling that. And so we've got to model that for our kiddos. We've got to show them that it's okay to feel your feels. It's okay. We want to feel them. We want them to move through us so we can move on and have different emotions on the other side. But if we are trying to stop them or repress them or say, I don't want to feel this way, those emotions can become trapped and they will surface in other ways and likely inconvenient times. So we want to deal with our emotions. We want to give space for our emotions to flow through us. And so again, looking at tools. Can we move our body? Can we have conversations? Can we read books? Can we hit pillows if we need to hit pillows? Can we cry if we need to cry? Can we ask for hugs if we need hugs? These are all tools and resources to help us navigate these really important emotions that are likely to surface. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I just wanted to share our process. It's taken some time to really get clear about our intentions and how we feel is best to move forward with Kai at this particular point in his life. If you guys want to learn more about my personal process, because there's a process that I had to go through before I could become clear on what I wanted to model for Kai, I will put that in a separate video, because us as parents, we go first. We're the leaders. We need to move through this in order to model, the appropriate behaviors for our kiddos. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.